itself, evolution. The one absolute truth is the law of constant change. And change means what? Come on, brother. Say it. Growing. Growth as it relates to the human being. The manifestation. All right?
Okay, just one thing that came up that's very interesting, you know. Oh, life is so wonderful, Dan. You know. I truly am a little warrior, and it's been very interesting how I've had to learn how to modulate that through the feminine energies.
Yeah.
You know, but that doesn't mean that I cannot, that I have to forfeit why I'm here as a warrior, and I still have to be always on task. And one of the things that is very important and paramount now is that we understand that when we come together in groups, that we come together under agreement. That's actually what etiquette is and culture, okay? It has been made known that there's only taping to be done by the individuals who our hosts and hostesses have hired to tape us. And we find that there are individuals here who are going to disrespect our host and hostess and have been persistent in wanting to personally tape us. That they cannot do. Okay. Yes. No, you should read it for them so they can have it.
Again, this is from the manual that you will be getting.
I think you should do this one. Everything has purpose. You just read it.
Okay. I'm going to read what you will be getting before the workshop is over. From the manual on this relationship before a sex ship workshop. There is nothing in the universe that can be created without purpose. Based upon purpose, one's frequency of light and awareness is bestowed upon the individual or object so that it innately fulfills its purpose with minimal resistance and maximum reward and enjoyment. When any form of matter chooses not to actualize its reason for being, the resistance one incurs is directly proportional to the resistance produced by the unwillingness to be and do as one's molecules are aware that they should. In other words, the amount of resistance incurred is equivalent to the amount of reverse vibrational activity based upon one's resistance to doing and being as one has been created. The frequency known as joy and the frequency known as harmony and contentment are repelled from any object that is using itself in a way that is not in alignment with how it was created to function.
Right, did you understand that? That as long as you're not on purpose, joy, peace, and harmony, which is a frequency of energy, cannot be released within your being. So that's heavy. That's only allowed to be released once you have hit the frequency of your purpose. Okay, that's very important to understand. Yeah.
Can you raise those three energies back up again, because I felt the drop?
Can I raise those?
Can we raise our energies of joy, peace, and love back up again?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They will.
Okay. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Okay. The part of us that is connected to infinite intelligence creates the events in our lives. There's no such thing as an accident, a coincidence, or a random event. Nothing that happens is the fault of anyone outside of ourselves. Now, I want you to mark that down because we're going to have to deal with that later. But this is very important for you to get it. Okay? What you have is what you wanted. Okay, and that deals with a lot of issues, but we're going to have to look at this. I know that to many of us, this appears to be very heavy and a rigid law because our society has allowed so many of us to take a victim's perception in relationship to the experiences that many of us have created. However, mastery of an experience only comes through willingness to see that it is through our own electromagnetic energies that we have magnetized an experience to us, which will allow us to experience our own divinity. Now, you have to understand that whatever these experiences are, they also are experiences to allow us to actualize more of our divine state. The universe is a neutral support system and does not allow an individual to magnetize an experience that the person lacks the capacity to master. Therefore, if we are in the experience, then the tools necessary and the awareness necessary to master it are innately already present. We must be aware that whatever our circumstances, we are equal to the challenge. We need to be aware that we are not facing the challenge alone. We are all in this together at the deepest levels of awareness. We are all connected, and we are all here to support one another. Comfort in our bodies. Period. Okay. Now, let me just give some additional information on that. You know, having been a surgeon and having been in the hospital and seeing many, many interesting things, there was a lot of questions that I had. That's one of the reasons why I left my traditional practice, because I had way too many questions and too few answers. You know, and I also exposed myself to a lot of experiences by working also in the emergency room as a general surgeon 3 nights a week. So I was getting a lot of things off the EMS trucks and things. It was astounding. You know, I was like, wow, this is like incredible. And see, what happens is that everything you experience is written within your being. See, there's no such thing as having an experience and you don't remember. Okay, you can cancel that out of the conscious mind, but, you know, the cameras on the body are already going. And if you have somewhat of an intense or an awareness of your other bodies, you actually recall all these experiences. So as I even talk about them, I'm seeing all kinds of things just coming to my mind. And I had to ask myself why. A very good example is, and that really forced me to really stretch and to grow, to look beyond what was physical, was many of the experiences that I saw that by no way just looking at them on a physical dimension, on this dimension, could be explained. I had a gentleman that came in, really handsome man. I think he must have been about maybe 30 years old, and he was on his Harley Davidson, he and his wife. And something happened, and he was sideswiped by a car, and it tore the back of his heel off. So when they picked him up off the bike and brought him into the hospital, you know, you could just lift up his whole heel. You know, so like, that's real interesting, you know. So, of course, it was bleeding very bad because their tendons torn or whatever, but it had dirt and gravel and grit in it because, you know, it was an accident that happened on the street. So I had the honor of admitting him, calling the surgeons who were on call upstairs in the emergency room, letting them know that they had an avulsion here, that they had a case that needed to be cleaned and bandaged, and perhaps calling an orthopedic surgeon. And so we got him ready. He had not lost that much blood to be able to go to the OR. So I asked her to go to the reception area, have a seat, and when he had come out of surgery and had been assigned to his room, then I would come back and tell her what room she was in and that she could go up and see him, you know, before she left the hospital, because this happened about midnight or so. So, you know, I'm doing my thing in the emergency room because we have people who are really interesting and they want to be on alcohol or drugs and hurt themselves, so you have to sew them up and, you know, that kind of thing. It's a society in the emergency room. And, you know, so the OR called down. And they called down to ask if his wife was still at the hospital. So I'm like, yeah, she's still here. So I just cut off the conversation and said, you know, well, what room is he? You know, I'll tell her what room it is, and I'll send her right on up. They said, no, don't do that. You know, we just want to let you know that he arrested, that he's dead. You know, and I'm like, what? It's like, oh, no. I can't believe that, you know. And, of course, because that then leaves me to have to go out and deliver the information. And I'm like, oh, no, that was just really horrible. You know, so I'm like, this is incredible. My thing is that, you know, this man was cooled out, calm, you know, no problems, no issues it appeared. You know, it was a little accident, just needed his wound cleaned and whatever else to breathe it. And you're telling me that this man is dead? It's like, wow, you know, I mean, what is happening? I mean, I saw more cases like that. You know, I saw people that came in smashed up. We were like picking parts up, you know. We were like, oh, wow, you know, I mean, just taking our time in the emergency room because we just knew that they were dead. We couldn't understand why they had a pulse, and we, you know, would dump in 30 units of blood and take them upstairs. And invariably, these people would be signing out 2 months later at the sign-out desk. And they'd be like, You know, I remember seeing your liver and stomach and, you know, whatever else, et cetera, you know. And it's amazing to see that they're actually signing out. I mean, it's like, I don't understand it. I mean, how can somebody come in with a little lesion